So I was riding back on the plane, and I was thinking, oh, it's Mother's Day. And for some reason, since I started coming to Unity and Patricia included me in speaking, I somehow landed on Mother's Day every single year of having to do the talk on Mother's Day. Which, yes, well, see, this is a dicey one, the getting and the having. This is a little bit dicey, this one. As much as I love to think, oh, I get to do this, the Mother's Day talk for me has been, because I've had some conflict with some people haven't liked my talks on Mother's Day in the past, and I've heard about it, and and also I've had people come up to me and say things like, some people didn't have a good experience with their mothers, and so it can't all be just roses and flowers, and thank you for the flowers, by the way, Linda, today's flowers. So I'm in this battle all the time internally of, like, how do I deliver something that is both true to me, but then honors everybody with wherever they're at? Because my experience with my mom was wonderful. I had every bit of loving care that I could have ever hoped for. As a matter of fact, I would say it was probably too much if you ask my 5 older brothers and sisters.
You were the baby.
Because I didn't actually, my name in the house was Baby. She didn't use my name, Thomas. It was when I came, like when I left the house and I'd come visit, it was, oh, my baby's here. And I could just see my brothers and sisters just like, oh. So there's a range of emotions on Mother's Day of gratitude, grief, joy, and I think it's a very complex kind of day. And so as much as I would love to just talk about how great my childhood was with my mom, I won't. But just know that, today I was feeling actually that song, Wonderful World. So my mom passed away just about 2 years ago now, and Wonderful World was the song that my dad would walk around the house singing and whistling all the time. And so, Josh, you choosing that song today was a little bit emotional here, but it was great because it really had that connection for me this morning. So as we begin this, I will invite all of us to just take a moment, and if you're comfortable, just close your eyes and invite your heart to open fully, to invite the tenderness and the tension that can be part of today's celebration. And with your eyes closed, I'd like to introduce this metaphor for us all to think about. That motherhood is the soul's first soil, sometimes rich and nurturing, sometimes rocky and hard. But in every story, the divine is present, either as gentle care or as the strength that helps us rise and bloom. And we can anchor this truth with that Christ presence that we opened up with, that's in each one of us, this true source of life, this unshakable root of love and healing, of peace that's available for all of us. And regardless of what our experience has been or is in the future or might be today, we can land ourselves and stand firmly on this beautiful Mother Earth, this Gaia that we have as a place to hold ourselves, that is actually holding us and nurturing us. And we can bring that forward into every conversation, every meeting, every situation that we have today, tomorrow, the next day, and moving forward in our lives. I like to celebrate this love that we can have, and I also was thinking of some words that Jesus spoke, which was to love others as I have loved you, to love one another as I have loved you. And I think if we are willing to open our hearts and actually receive that, to be willing to receive love, it strengthens our ability to give love. And we can extend that love into the world. We can reflect it back. We can be a mirror of that love. And sometimes people have had the experience of their heart growing in hardness, that maybe their childhood was marked by absence or pain or regret, sometimes neglect. But that flower also grew through that concrete that might have been there, that toughness that might have been there, that their beauty and strength is still available for them today. And maybe they found their way to be that, regardless of the experience they may have had. And when I think of that, I also have to think back a few Sundays ago when we talked about resurrection and the Christ, and that moment on the cross where we're given the story of Jesus saying, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." And maybe that's what's required of all of us at certain times. You know, was my mom amazing? Yes. Was she sometimes not amazing? Yes. Both those things are true at the same time. When we were on the bus in Cuba, I think that's how they say it there. Our tour, we had a tour guide, lovely, lovely lady, who so the way it's set up for her is when she takes on a tour, she stays at the hotel with the group and spends all of her time available to them, which pulls her away from her family. And there was a few occasions where we traveled where her husband or her mom and her kids would show up, and her mom lives with her. So from what I gathered from her, there's many families in Cuba where many people live in the same house. Many generations share their struggle together. And she was telling us their experience. She was sharing it as we were driving down the highway, that they struggle to get things, to get daily living things. So one of the things we did was we brought a bunch of toothbrushes and toothpaste and daily supplies, things like that we handed out. And as she was speaking about this and telling us of this struggle, I was thinking that, you know, back at home, I think I have like 3 tubes of toothpaste just sitting in a drawer that, you know, that for me is like, oh, which one will I use today? And for them, they might not even have one. You know, just her sharing of a mother's desire for her children, of wanting simple things in life for them and not having them readily available. And then at the same time, being pulled away from them in order to get whatever sustenance money she can in order to provide. And then to be back at home and have the power go out for who knows how long. Like maybe daily, 4 or 5 hours a day, no power, right when you're in the middle of cooking a meal. And there was one trip with her that she asked us to stop on the road because there was a fuel shortage, and there's only one area near where she lives where she can get coal to bring home in case she needs to use coal. And so we stopped, and one of the guys got out of the bus and carried the 60-pound bag of coal to the bus that she could then bring home. And all of this that she was sharing came from this place of a mother wanting nothing but the best for her kids and what that struggle was like. And of course, I reflected on that in terms of how I was raised, and then if I bring that even closer to home now, I know some of you here, and I know your kids, and I know what they experienced from you. And then if I look just in my own home, what my daughters have experienced from their mother, my wife, Leslie, and how she and I are always, well, not always, but sometimes at a battle because I want them to feel the pain of life sometimes. Yes, I'm that guy. But I think like sometimes you need to feel the pain of life. And she, of course, never wants them to feel that pain of life. And that is maybe the difference between, a mother and a father, where I'm thinking about I'm up here in this part of my world, my brain, thinking this will be good for them down the road, and she's living here in this heart where this will never be good for them. And so I'm grateful for her presence in their life, because I now have two daughters that are going to be 19 that I look at and see that same heart in them that they would not have gotten so easily from me. And I know I've shared this with you before, but when I went to Unity to apply to be a minister, and I needed a third interview, which is not good. Although I think more is good, right? The third interview is not good. I had one team, so the first two interviews, one was like a yes, and the other ones were like, no, he needs to be redirected. And so I needed a third interview to make my case of being allowed into ministry, which went well, obviously. I got my letter from them, my acceptance letter, and in the first paragraph, it kind of reminded me of my school report card, where it said things like, Thomas would be much better off if he would learn to be quiet in class. That kind of instruction on all of my report cards were very similar in that regard. This one said, Thomas will need to learn to travel from his head to his heart. And this is the biggest challenge he will face in ministry, which was very accurate, has been very accurate. And it's still a struggle for me. It's still that hard place to go. And I don't know if that's because I'm a man and I'm very much in that space of you got to go out there and work hard, blah, 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 or if it's just the way I am. That I just have a problem opening myself up there, or a challenge. And so it's been my greatest teacher here. And then I think it's interesting that all of my classes, I was the only guy in the class. I clearly needed that feminine energy in my life to open me up more. And so what I've learned in this, reflecting on another Mother's Day that I get to spend in front of all of you and speaking from my heart, is what a gift it's been, this journey, to move from always being up here and thinking and calculating and trying to figure it out, to just give that up and just allow my heart to be open and to operate from there as opposed to being up here. This is great when I want to figure out how to ride my motorcycle from here to Calgary on the most fantastic roads possible. It's really great to be up here. But then to experience those fantastic roads, I actually have to be here. I have to allow myself to be open and not be thinking and not be planning, but to just be in the moment and accept, right? And to be with others. So I'm encouraging all of us to heal through our heart center, to take on practices that open up our hearts, that allow that incredible divine feminine energy, which I believe is manifested here in this heart space, to grow in all of us. even those that already have plenty of it. If you have plenty, then just give more away. Please, just give it away for others to receive it so that they can see what it's like to be that open and to share that willingly. And so if we go back to the metaphor, no matter what soil it is that we are raised through, no matter what that looks like, the Christ in each of us, that light, is love. And we can draw on it. And we can share it. And importantly, with that is we can accept it from each other. And wouldn't that be a lovely thing to see in the rest of the world right now? Right? But we have to be it. That's the thing, is we have to be that first.